Hey, it's Mr. Barr here for your business and tech lesson of the day. What we're going to be doing now is moving right into Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is going to take a look at business and the global economy. We're going to look at international business basics, the global marketplace, and international business organizations. First section here is some international business basics. Okay, typically as a country, you are trying to figure out, what are some things that we have that people need. And there's different ways to look at it. One is if I can find an absolute advantage. This is when a country can produce a good, or service at a lower cost than other countries. This would put me in a very strong position, because if I have an absolute advantage on a product, which means I can get it for way cheaper than anybody else, I control that market, and then I control how much money I want for that good. So if I can find that, that's what I want to do. Well, if I can't find that, then I'm going to probably look for my comparative advantage. This is when a country specializes in production of a good or service which is more efficient. So maybe I have a lot of one thing, but nobody wants it. So I wouldn't try to make an absolute advantage of that product since it's not in high demand. What I might say is, well, we're pretty efficient at making this, so let's try that. Importing makes prices of things lower. If we did not import, bananas, coffee, cocoa, or crude rubber, the cost would be immense for us to get these products, because we just don't have enough production of these products that we need. Some of them are starting to come around a little bit, but there are some that we can't get it in our country, so we have to import it. Exporting is when we send out something that we maybe have too much of. Food and farming products are a big thing in America. Because we're relatively efficient when we farm, we tend to export quite a bit of our farming products to people that are in need. This is a graph breakdown of things that we import in blue versus the production in gold. So you can see that we import 64, 68, 72, 73, and then diamonds are 100%. And the other thing you'll kind of notice in the correlation here is if we're importing this much of these products, the price of these products are going to be relatively high, i.e. diamonds. Since we do not produce diamonds in our country, the cost of diamonds is very expensive. Okay, so now we have to look at trading. How do we measure it? Foreign debt is the amount a country owes to other countries. What you would like, theoretically, in your country is to have a positive foreign debt, which would mean that you are getting more from countries than what you're giving out. We don't have that. Our foreign debt is rather high, just like all debt we have in our country. Balance of trade is kind of what I'm talking about, is when you're looking at trade surplus, is it sells more than it buys. Trade deficit is it buys more than it sells. That's not us, or it could be us, but that's the U.S. This is us. We have a huge trade deficit. Balance of payments is the difference between the amount of money that comes into a country and the amount that goes out. Positive receives more than it gives. Negative receives less than it gives out. This is some U.S. trade balances. Again, remember, this is slightly old, so these numbers are changing, but I would imagine they're fairly similar with regards to ratios. So you can see that we're negative with all countries, and this is probably in billions, like it says here. So we're negative 500 billion in a trade deficit, which means we're just spending way too much. Canada negative 54, We're positive with Netherlands and Australia, probably because they just don't have anything that we want. If they had more of what we wanted, we would be negative with them as well. Or they're just taking in that much of our products. But I would assume it's just Netherlands and Australia aren't offering up things that we are deeming high demand. The other issue this creates is it kind of takes away a little bit of your power, because if your trade balance is negative with countries, they know that you need them more than they need you at times. So you have to be careful, and that tends to happen. Again, this is just a graphical breakdown, favorable versus unfavorable imports and exports. Currency is foreign exchange rate markets, which banks buy and sell different rates. Exchange rates, values of a currency in another country compared to another country. So basically we're comparing money to money. There's three factors that affect what money is valued at. The balance of payments with that country. So if one country to another is negative or positive, it's going to affect the amount of money. Economic conditions, what kind of interest rates are going on in that country at the time, and is there political issues. Again, these are not up-to-date numbers, but they serve their purpose. This is looking at the amount of pound to US dollar, and it just breaks them down in the different ratios of what $1 is worth compared to its counterpart in another country. That's where we'll stop there. Make sure you do your 3-1 questions right now as well.